Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 150 of LostinTranslationmon. I'm May.
And I'm Jay.
And this time we watched Back to the Digital World, Hot Time in Dragonland.
Or Towards the New World, the blazing general of the Dragonland.
And Take a Stand, Christopher, Fusion Fighters Rescue Mission.
Or Stand Up, Kiriha, Xros Hearts Rescue Strategy.
And Vampire Land and the Moonlight General.
Or Fell the Chill Run Down Your Spine, the Moonlight General's Vampire Land.
For DigiNews this week, first up, there's a new Digimon game coming out on PS4 and Switch. It is called Digimon Survive, which is pretty exciting. We get something on the Switch as well as a PS4, so that's pretty cool.
I bet that'll be just as good as Metal Gear Survive.
Maybe. Maybe it won't be a pachinko machine.
Neither was Metal Gear Survive.
Well, Metal Gear something was, and you were annoyed.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. They remastered everything and then chucked it in a pachinko machine. I'm going to cry.
Never forget.
Never forgive.
Also in Digimon gaming news, the Digimon Rearise, which is a new mobile app, is out on Japanese app stores, so that's also exciting. We're getting lots of news from the Digimon game front, which is pretty cool. Nothing here yet, though. No news about Rearise or Survive's release in English-speaking world. But
Gamefront sounds like GameStop, that store that's very bad at stopping games.
Ah, yes.
It has stopped 0 games.
They should be called Game Start or Game Buy.
Game Start.
And another bit of DigiNews is that the first Digimon Pendulum password is out, and it's for Ophanimon Fall Down mode. And if you cross this... Wow, I've been watching too much Xros Wars.
Yes,
if you jogress it with...
same thing.
Ragulmon, who's Meikummon's evil ultimate form,
Ragulmon.
you can get Ordainemon. Ragulmon, that's her name.
Regularmon.
You can get Ordainemon from Regularmon, yes. Ordinarymon, yes. Quite. And there was a bunch of merchandise stuff that came out today, but most importantly, my favourite is the fact that they're releasing Mimi's hat.
Well, the whole hat? Could you link this
hat.
to me as we speak? I need to see that. I don't believe you.
Well, so the thing is, what I did was I linked the only bit of news I thought Jay would care about to Jay earlier, which is the life-size Terriermon, which will also...
No, the hat I care more about.
What, the Mimi's hat?
Yes.
Alright, so basically people have been messaging me with it all day because they're all like, hey May, have you seen this? Hey May, have you seen this?
As if May wouldn't miss anything.
Yeah, so I'll just send it to you on probably Discord because we have that open.
Just to clarify, this is like my favorite kind of merchandise when they take like important stuff from the show and make it available.
Yeah, it's like it's usable merchandise, which is always very exciting for me. So I've just linked that in Discord for you. And it also comes with a little audio thing that you can put inside the hat.
What?
And
why?
So
wow,
it has Mimi quotes, but you don't have to have it with the audio thing. You can take the audio thing out and just wear it as a hat.
That's just a legit hat. It's big.
Yes, it's a hat. It's Mimi's hat. That's the best thing ever.
It's really big.
Yeah, so everyone
it's half a meter long.
Yep, it's a Bigum's hat. It looks really cool. I want it. I want to get it. If I can get it, I'll get it.
Was it $1,000?
No, it's like it's not that bad. It's like probably about 150.
Okay, well,
Like Australian? Yeah, so it's...
I like, Shino X has made a suggestion at the bottom of this forum thing. Don't forget Ty's shoes, his headband, Matt's harmonica, which they did produce, didn't they?
I don't think so.
No, you just bought a harmonica because you're a nerd.
Yeah, I bought the harmonica for my cosplay.
Izzy's laptop, which technically they did, but it was tiny, it was garbage. Joe's glasses, perfectly fair.
No, we have that. No, okay, we have...
TK's hat?
No, we do have Ty's shoes.
What? Where?
They were released in an event once.
That's dumb.
And we also... And I don't think I've told you about this, but they've actually released Digimon-themed eyeglasses in Japan.
But wasn't it like a whole crazy range?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they made Joe's.
Oh, well, fair enough.
And I want to say that Kari's whistle is also released, but I can't actually remember.
Ty's shoes are a great one, but you got the problem with like the sneakerheads who, like, oh, you have these really nice shoes. Now you can never wear them.
I do want Sora's hat, though. We gotta find out what it is.
That's why they will never, ever make it.
Like, I'm so mad because we have the Bakemon Lose Your Power, drum, 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 and then, like, in the same season, like, maybe 20 episodes later, we see her folding it into a drawer.
You will never, ever find out what it is.
But yeah, the most important thing is... the music box plays dialogue with Butterfly behind it, and one only plays Butterfly. But more importantly, it's a hat. And I want it pretty badly. It's a hat. My favorite thing is usable merchandise. My bowl is the little Gomamon ramen bowl.
That's not even the one, because it's got his face in the bottom, which means it's just a bowl.
I know, but usually Nutrigrain's covering that.
Fair enough, you can't tell.
But oh my gosh, like I love my favorite bit of merchandise is just usable merchandise, like the Tai Chi hoodie. When I couldn't actually get dressed for like a week, when I broke my collarbone, I was wearing. Well, that's all I could wear, so I wore that for a week straight. I also didn't leave the house, so no one saw. But it's usable merchandise, which is the best. So yeah, there are other things that were released. There's another CSA Digivice, but it's the 1999 Digimon stuff. So they keep on making CSA Digivices. Like we already have one that's coming out in a couple of months, which is the special second try one. And yeah, we also know that there's another Evolving Spirits one that's coming out. It's Holy Angemon and Patamon. But more importantly, we have Mimi's hat and a life-size Terriermon.
The life-size Terriermon is very cute. One of the concerns it looks like it might have like Velcro on the end of its ears.
Probably so it can stick to things.
That's why I think it's there. But I know that anything I've ever had that had that gimmick to it that was really uncomfortable.
Well,
you don't
maybe
actually
they've
want
improved
that.
it. I've also linked you another thing, which is they've made
You're pushing your luck here.
They're releasing Digimon ties.
Oh, that's not bad. These are reasonably subtle, actually. That's not bad at all.
No, that's what I love about especially reasonably subtle Digimon merchandise, like a bag, like with like the crest emblem. It's just very small enough so you don't actually notice straight away. I love it.
That's why I really like that Danganronpa tie. Although even that one's a bit too much.
Yeah, this one's pretty subtle.
That one is right on the threshold, the Danganronpa tie. That's why when I bought it.
Yeah, well, you know my work bag at the moment is the school bag from Persona 5. I love...
That's just a bag.
It has the high school logo on it.
Yeah, well, no one knows.
And it says Shujin High School, and I was like, I'm not a high school student, but this is pretty cool. And it looks really professional. It's a nice bag. I love real-world merchandise. So yeah, this hat is... ace. I want it. Yeah, so that's it for DigiNews. And there's a bit of Lost in NewsLatelymon. I'm back on Gaia Line because I've given up trying to resemble a human being. And apparently they fixed the economy, which is why I left in the first place. I've changed my username back to Edgemon from what it was before because I love Edgemon.
Your name should be Edgemon.
Edgemon, because I'm edgy.
Yeah.
And so hit me up if you are also not a human being and not on Gaia Online.
Hit me up if you also have no self-respect.
True. And on to Obnoxious Synopsis. The first episode they're watching this week is called Back to the Digital World, Hot Time in Dragonland, or Towards a New World, The Blazing General of Dragonland. Both are fantastic titles.
Can I ask a quick question? Yep. What happened in the last episode?
Taiki went back to the real world with Angie and Zenjiro.
And he ends with him going back through the portal again.
Yeah, and he went back alone, and now Shoutmon could become Omega Shoutmon. And they were like, oh, we have to go back to save the world because, Lord Barga is doing some things, and Nene and Kirihara are still there, and everyone else in Cross Heart's still back in the digital world, so he's going to go back to do that. That's basically how the last episode ended. It has been like a month, so it's fine. What do you think? Yep. What do you think will happen this episode?
I guess he goes back to Dragonland. The only thing I can say is that they kind of showed us this already, is that the place is all kind of boned up because the evil's been running at this place for like a year in digital time, presumably.
Do you think that'll be addressed, or do you think they'll just gloss over the fact that no time moves in the real world compared to the digital world?
It has to be addressed. We saw it. They showed us the big evil castle in the distance.
Right.
Presumably built during this time.
Do you think anything will annoy you in this episode?
I mean, it will annoy... What's going to annoy me is I don't really understand the bad guy's motivation other than conquest. So, since he's already conquested, the bad guy should be kind of satisfied with what he's got, at which point the question is, okay, So is he a crap king and there's like a revolution? Or does he have no specific end goal?
Yeah. No, that's... And I think I mentioned it last episode, but that sure is a problem in Digimon where we don't really know the bad guy's motivations most of the time. It's just, what is your motivation? Being evil. And I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure I mentioned that last time, but it's just, it is an annoying thing about Digimon.
I sure love being evil.
Yeah, it's just like, that's why Atmon and the manga's good, because we always have, like, some motivation for the bad guy. It's always just like, oh, this is why the bad guy wants to control the world, or wants to eradicate humans, like, he has a reason. And arguably Kurata and Sabers had a reason.
Arguably.
But this one's pretty basic. Lord Barger is just like, hey, I kind of just want to rule the world, which is, pretty basic in terms of, like, a bad guy's motivation. Like, oh, I'm evil because I want to rule the world. Like, okay, continue. No, that's it. All right. Do you think it'll be a good episode?
Not particularly. But then again, I don't want to be watching this, so almost nothing you put in front of me is going to be good right now.
Well, if it makes you feel better, people do say that the second part of Xros Wars is better than the other parts.
Everything's better than the third part, isn't it? According to everyone.
I like the third part. It's a thing. If you want to have a quick look...
it exists. It is a thing, technically.
It's Atmon, but just Monster of the Week, I guess. So I actually posted this a bit ago, but I actually posted this sort of promotional art for the second part. It's in the Discord. It's the last comment there. If you wanted to have a quick squiz and to see if that changed anything about how you think this season's going to go.
I was going to say, isn't that like cheating or something? But also...
We always do it.
Okay, well let's take this one. Okay. Well, there are other characters around. That's weird. And they all have Season 2 outfits, so I guess they'll be back.
Well, we already saw Taiki's Season 2 outfit.
Well, yeah, but we know he's still in this. Everyone else got left behind.
Yeah, true. So we know Nene and Kiriha didn't die.
Right, were they still in the digital world?
Yeah. Everyone but Shoutmon and Taiki, Akari and Zenjiro were.
That's right. Right, they left the other kids, not these kids. Yeah, oh man. If they're not like big war veterans by now, I'm gonna be really mad. Also, where did they get new clothes? Taiki got to go home.
Literally, I made the same comment in my episode notes for episode 31, where I'm just like, hey, is there a clothes shop in the digital world? Because I'm pretty sure Digimon don't wear clothes, but okay.
And there's some kind of evolutions. Dark Knightmon's in the back. Something else that might just be Dark Knightmon's shoulder, though.
That's Bugramon.
Okay, doesn't look like him.
Yeah, he's got a big skeleton face with a emo fringe and a horn.
Then there's whatever Greymon turns into on the right. Omega Greymon, I don't know. And whatever Sparrowmon turns into in the middle.
Moki Doki. So,
Presumably.
What rating for the first episode?
Like... It has to set up a lot of good stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if everyone else says it's good, then it probably will be compared to the rest of it. Not that it will be good objectively. Let's be way brave and out there and say a 7.
That's pretty good.
Horrendously disappointed.
Well, I hope you're not disappointed.
Oh, well, get ready.
The second episode is called Take a Stand, Christopher, Fusion Fighters Rescue Mission, or Stand Up Kiriha, Cross Hearts Rescue Strategy. What do you think will happen this episode?
Oh, I guess Kiriha has been, captured, and he's all like, oh no, we've all lost, because he's got no character left. I don't know. It makes it sound like they need to convince him to, wake up again, because he's been, captured for a year. But it's weird. That sounds like it's out of his character.
And do you think anything will annoy you in this episode?
If it's really out of character.
Do you think it'll be a good episode?
No.
So basically, you're basing everything on whether or not it's in character for Kiriha, if he acts the way he should be.
I'm also a little bit bothered by the idea it says Fusion Fighters Rescue Mission, in the sense that, the whole team's already so back together that you can call it the Fusion Fighters Rescue Mission.
Mm-hmm.
Problem already solved.
Right. Do you think it'll be a good episode?
You already asked
you that. Yes. What rating?
5.
Filler or not filler?
Not.
And then the third episode we're watching this week is called Vampire Land and the Moonlight General, or Feel a Chill Run Down Your Spine, the Moonlight General's Vampire Land. Well, that's a mouthful. What will happen this episode?
Well, I guess they go to Vampire Land, which, by the way,
Yep.
is a terrible name for a land. It doesn't even make sense. That's like Spooky Mansion Land, and there happens to be a vampire there.
I'm pretty sure it's actually just called like Moonlight Kingdom or Moonlight Land. It's not actually called Vampire Land. I'm not sure why the titles have said it. I'm pretty sure in the episode it was
Both titles.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in the episode it was actually Moonlight Kingdom.
If it's Spookyville, that makes sense. Vampire Land sounds really dumb.
Unless they're
That
just
implies
vampires.
that like the floor sucks your blood as well.
Yeah, true. So what do you think will happen?
I don't know. How could I possibly know? There might be what's his name? A Vamdemon, because that
Vamdemon.
makes perfect sense. And he'll be the bad guy, and he'll be not related to the original one at all, and he'll be out of character, and he'll have a different voice in the English, and it will be terrible.
Any other Digimon that are vampires?
Are there? Besides flavors of Vamdemon?
I always gathered that for some reason Lady Devimon was like a vampire, but then again her name's Devimon, so she's probably more of a devil.
She's a devil.
Yeah, she's a devil. Do you think anything will annoy you in this episode?
If it's called Vampire Land. And there's only one vampire.
Any good episode or nah?
Oh, definitely not.
And what rating?
3.
And filler or not filler?
Yes, it will be filler, I think.
Oh,
It just doesn't seem like anything could be happening.
So do you think this is like the first filler episode of the second part?
Well, naturally, it follows that I do believe that.
So just another quick prediction before we wrap up. Do you think that like you'll have a positive time like at the start of the season? Do you think you'll have positive impressions for the second part of Xros Wars, or do you think you'll be overall negative?
It has to be negative because I'm going to be watching Digimon.
Okay, fair. But you
Got him!
You had positive.
Chalk this one up as got him!
You're positive to Atmon, right?
Yeah, Atmon's different.
Yeah,
it's not even Digimon.
Atmon's just an outlier, and then we had Try, and then I was like, oh wait, never mind, Digimon's bad.
Yeah.
Like,
my ultimate goal was achieved when everyone admitted that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I remember a lot of people like, man, I can never agree with Jay, and then like, 3 years later, everyone was like, oh no, Digimon is bad, it's alright, it's fine. Atmon's
bad
good.
time for bad people.
I think it's because like people actually got exposed to good things, like the first 3 parts of Try and Atmon, and then if they covered V-Tame along with us, and like, oh, Digimon can be good.
And then it promptly got smashed back into the ground.
Yeah.
We all thought, oh, you know what, modern times, modern writers, of course they all looked back in the past and saw all the mistakes of Digimon and decided to fix them.
Atmon did.
And they invented all new mistakes in Try.
Yeah, but Atmon, arguably, I'm pretty sure like everyone who worked on Atmon was probably like a veteran of Digimon. Like they watched it as a kid and like it now. Like I'm pretty sure the actors at least, but I don't know. Atmon was so good. I want to watch Atmon again.
Well, go do it.
I will. I'll watch it in raw Japanese.
Okay, good luck.
I'll try. So any other predictions or onto the show?
I am done, let's go.
Let's go. So we'll cover episode 31 and 32 as one episode because one starts and finishes at basically the end of the next one. So we'll do that. So first of all, the first thing we should notice in episode 31, we get a new opening. Same music, like different music. In the dub, we get the same music, but updated animation. But the original version, we get new music and new animation. So that's pretty cool.
There's so many weird Digimon in there, including the blue-haired lady. What's her deal?
Oh, she's one of my favourite characters.
What?
She may be part of my OTP that I keep on mentioning, and I have been mentioning that my one OTP besides Mimi and Mako is in this season. I'm very excited.
Literally 0 sense, but okay.
Well, she's part of it, I'm pretty sure. If we're talking about the same one.
The giant one who's a Digimon?
Yeah, probably.
How do you not know? She has a skull on her head.
Yep, that's Minervamon.
Which is a design I think they stole from Bleach.
It does look very Bleachish. Like,
no,
the thing
seriously.
Is, this opening looks like a bunch... Like, they just said, hey, you know what's great shonen anime? Let's make a shonen anime. Yeah?
Let me try and find this character. Okay, what's her name?
I don't want you to have spoils. Oh, you mean the Bleach character?
Oh, her name is Nell, that's it.
Link it to me in Discord.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Cool.
Here we go.
But, yeah, so we also have, like, a vaguely One Piece-esque looking dude who's a pirate, and that's why it's vaguely One Piece-esque, I guess. Perhaps.
I mean, they're stealing a lot of stuff from One Piece. You can tell because of the premise of the entire show. He doesn't want to be king of the pirates. He just wants to be king of the Digimon. That's totally different.
Yeah, but there's one that's an actual pirate, and I'm pretty sure that was my favourite arc. The one with the pirate general. I don't know. It's pretty cool. I like it. I like the opening. It's very, like, I don't know. I like this opening better than the last opening. I'm very excited. Nene and Kiriha have new clothes. Shrug. I guess that makes sense, probably. They went to the Digital World store.
There, I put it in the Discord. That's the character.
That's yeah, you're right. Yeah, gee, okay, yep, that's
It's the
Minervamon.
same character.
Oh, straight down to the bus size. All right, that's just
No,
Minervamon.
they just stole it.
Like that's just Minervamon. There is no way knowing that is not Minervamon.
I can hear you struggling over there, like, oh no, how do I justify this? And the answer is that you can't.
The answer is like, damn, Digimon did a
I have a quick
steal.
question for you. Does
Yeah?
Minervamon have, like, a small chibi version of herself?
I think she has a brother?
Okay, no, that's not the same thing. Don't worry about it. This one
She's
has,
got
like,
a
this character that I've just linked here, the famous version of this is the really small chibi one, because that's what her main form, like, the form she first shows up in is, I think.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Basically,
Anyway.
this I knew, I had this feeling with Xros Wars that all it was doing the entire time was looking at every other popular anime and being like, what can we take? And I found the one from Bleach.
Sad and true. But yeah, so we have Taiki traveling back to the digital world, and he actually considers the time difference, which for some reason I'm surprised about, considering when we had Taichi come back, he was just like, oh yeah, that's right, time changed, and he sort of doesn't remember, but Taiki seems pretty on the ball. And he says that he's not sure what will await them because he's not sure how much time has passed, so he's kind of saying, oh, we have to be careful here. In the dub, he says that Shoutmon may be jet-lagged, and it's kind of weird that Shoutmon seems to have no idea in the dub. Like, in the original, he's just kind of like, oh yeah, that's right. In the dub, he's just like, what, there's time difference? What? Like, we should know this.
I mean, ideally.
So Lilymon is in Dragonland and tells Taiki to pretend to be a flower Digimon.
I actually should say this is important. So Shoutmon says in the Japanese, it's been so long, it might just be all destroyed by now. Obviously,
Yeah.
Bagumon could go nuts on the whole place and it could all be destroyed. And that gives you an expectation, which sets you up for... And you've seen at the end of the last episode, the big evil castle in the distance. So
Yeah.
you have in your mind this horrendous idea, which is why they, like, trick you and you end up with this really nice flower zone.
Yeah.
Whereas in the English, for some reason, they go, oh man, I wonder what it's going to be like. I have no idea. I thought that was weird. It's even double weird because obviously they considered it. When they land there, Shoutmon says, I thought it would be a wasteland by now. But they don't set you up for this emotional moment
I think
the right
it's because we don't want kids to have emotions.
way. I hate that. I hate when kids have emotions. Mostly they just hate kids.
Yeah, and we also, I guess, don't want to cause any unnecessary anxiety because the original, it's kind of like dooming. It's like, we don't know what we're going to be coming back to. Like,
Have you ever seen Avatar The Last Airbender? That show is full of anxiety.
Yeah, but we're in the stage where we couldn't make, like, shows like that, I guess. I don't know.
What year was this again?
2011. It was just before the onslaught of adults for kids cartoons.
Avatar The Last Airbender was 2003?
Yeah, that was like 2003. Yeah, you're right.
So...
Yeah, no, you're right.
2005 originally aired.
Yeah, I would have estimated 2006. So.
Still was 6 years earlier.
Yeah,
Things had changed. They were stealing stuff from Bleach.
Yeah, true. I think Digimon's a little bit behind in that regard then.
Digimon's always been behind. It will never not be behind.
All these dragon Digimon come out, and also dinosaur Digimon, and we see
they're dragons though. They're dragons though.
Yeah, but I know a lot of them are dinosaurs. Like we have the ones that end with Dramon, who are the Dramon dragon Digimon. Then we have ones that are just dinosaurs, like Tyrannomon. I can't talk.
The thing that weirded me out was when Dracomon's like, why is that dragon Digimon helping me? And I'm like, oh, Shoutmon's dragon type, apparently.
Yeah, he is.
Shoutdramon.
Yeah, but he's also the main character's partner, and they're always like dragon or dinosaur-like.
Also, quick question. I just want to remember it. Does Nene dress up as a crocodile Agumon later?
Yeah, she does. It is green Agumon, you're right.
No, it's got the back, though. It's Croc Agumon.
It's adorable is what it is.
Like that video game, Croc.
Did they just, like, turn Nene up to, like, 1 billion in this season? Like,
they
she
really did.
Like, at the start of the last season, she was all mysterious and like, oh yes, I am Nene. I will watch from afar. And now she's all like, hey, I'm gonna, like, approach and scare the living daylights out of these Digimon in my crocodile onesie. Also, I love to cosplay now, apparently. Like, she's just all about dressing up this season and has all these outfits.
She's very resourceful now.
I love her. Something changed. Like, between the time Taiki was gone, Nene kind of like, I don't know, something happened.
Which is funny because the opposite happened to Kiriha, where he was like he was the aggressive and effective one, and she was sort of meandering about. Now she's the effective one.
It's okay, I love Nene. She's my favourite now. She's
She
a
was
good girl.
always your favorite. Let's be real.
No, Sparrowmon was my favourite. Sparrowmon's still good.
That is true.
Especially in the 3rd episode this week, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So, Dracomon wants to escape because he doesn't want to fight the flower and bird Digimon anymore. And we find out that the dragons are all part of the Bagra army. Lilymon explains to Taiki that the world's been separated into 7 kingdoms. Meanwhile, we have Dracomon saying that he won't rejoin the dragons because they're really awful and they're even awful to their own kind. Like, they're evil to others and they're evil to each other, and he doesn't want to be any part of that, and he doesn't want to fight for them because of that. And Shoutmon and Taiki save him, and Taiki says that he's Ohanamon, like flower. In the dub,
like
it's
family.
Flowerymon. Yeah, but also Hana is flower.
And family.
And Hana.
And flower means no one gets left behind or forgotten.
Damn it. I was going to say that. Anyway, Dracomon, as Jay said earlier, seems surprised to have a dragon ally on his side. In the dub, this annoys me, they make a few weird changes that make the dialogue worse, but I don't know, it's weird. So, in the dub, he says he's surprised that somebody is defending him, and there's no mention of alignment or species or what have you. It's just like, oh man, I'm surprised that someone's helping me. Like, anyone. Like, I don't know. It's just weird.
I think what weirded me out was when he says that he's Ohanamon, no one goes, I've never heard of that Digimon before. They all
but
just
there's
go,
so many.
Huh, alright.
Yeah, the goons are pretty dumb. Like, they're just like, looks like a lot more to me.
That's... You know what? That was so over the top. At first I was like, this is the worst. And then I changed my mind entirely. I mean, no, this is great, actually.
Yeah. Anyway,
I appreciate how bad it was.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Anyway, so Shoutmon tries to evolve but can't, and Devidramon says that evolution only happens under specific circumstances. In the dub, there's no mention, and this is another change, that they just don't mention, hey, the evolution only happens under very specific circumstances, and you have to, like, do something in order to evolve. Like, you have to trigger something. This is not mentioned in the dub, and that is weird to me, because I feel like, I don't know, they just look like, stupid Digimon can't evolve. In the dub, they just make it that no one believes him. In the original, people believe him, or, don't just say, hey, you're lying. They sort of say, hey, of course you can't evolve. They haven't, like, unlocked the specific circumstance.
No, evolution doesn't exist, okay? And this makes more sense in the English when you think of the primary age, like, the primary people for it. Young American children in the early 2010s, when it was a big deal whether or not evolution was taught in schools.
Really?
Actually, that was probably more like 2005, 2008, that time period. But whatever. What I said was still funny.
That was an issue in America?
Yeah, it was, absolutely.
Jeez.
It was
right.
Absolutely a huge issue whether or not evolution should be taught in schools.
Okay.
Because the religious people were saying, like, that defies my religious freedom to have my kids avoid being taught that, but also definitely teach them about Adam and Eve in school.
Jeez. Alright. So, Kiriha shows up, and he got an outfit change. We don't know where Look, I would love if they just said, oh, by the way, Nene's a fashion designer now, and she made all our clothes.
I mean, that'd be dumb, because she doesn't have time for that.
But imagine if that's all she did while Taiki was gone. Like, Kiriha fought
If that's all she did, you would hate it. Oh, the girl character when it became a fashion designer. Isn't that the best?
Okay. Better idea.
You would hate it. Let's be real.
No, if she specializes in, like, spy disguises, that's sick. Like, if she becomes, like, Q from James Bond and she's making all these sick gadgets.
That's not what a fashion designer is.
Okay, I used the wrong word. The clothing designer of the cool spy variety. I know, it'd be sick. Like, she makes all these, like, outfits. No, she just becomes a cosplayer. I don't know. She has an Instagram.
I'm not going to dignify that.
We find out that Dorbikmon is the ruler of this kingdom, and Bagramon wants to meet with all the Dark Generals. Damimon's narrating this because he's annoying. In the dub, he's not narrating. He's basically telling Laylamon what's happening because he's just still on her side, apparently, but she just says she can't believe anything he says. And it's weird. It goes from, like, narrating to explaining. I don't know, it's weird. And Lilithmon is so mad that Damimon was a spy in the original. In the dub, she just doesn't believe what he says. And then we have Gravimon, who's Jay's favourite.
Yeah.
We have his outline.
Yeah, I'm like, it's hard to justify why he's my favourite, other than, like...
He looks cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, I guess we'll get him soon then, won't we?
Ideally, but probably not. Probably be the last one.
Yeah, Dorbigmon is going to fight Blue Flare, and he puts them in a hole, and he's just straight up merged with the combination of all 4 holy beasts.
No, I looked this up. He's not a merge. He's just a different holy beast.
No, he's the merge.
I looked this up.
Howlmon's the merge. He's the merged one. 100%.
Hold on. Wait, has it ever happened in the show? Like,
not in the show.
all right.
But he is the combination one, and it's based on
they are led
like, lore.
by Huanglongmon, who represents Innistrad by the center. Led by.
And that's the combination.
How can
of
he
all.
lead them if they combine into him?
I don't know. All I know is that he is the.
All right.
That's how you make him the combination.
Further statement. Wait, no, you're right. Damn it, God damn it.
Right.
Okay, you're often wrong. Let's be real.
He's the center, but the center is the combination of all 4.
You are very often wrong.
Not about Digimon, I'm not.
You're actually very often wrong about Digimon, and I'm constantly showing you my weirdly encyclopedic knowledge of Digimon.
I think it's because you've been doing it for like 3 years seriously, and I've been doing it my whole life, but like not seriously.
Yes?
Yes. Anyway, it's weird to me that they're using the combination of the Holy Beast. Like, he's never been in anything, but all of a sudden, he's a bad guy now. One of the Holy Beasts. I guess, the Holy Beasts are evil, though, a little bit.
Just a bit.
In the dub, when we see the Darkness Loader, Shoutmon asks what a Darkness Loader is, but I'm pretty sure he saw it last season with Dark Knightmon and Nene.
No, they never actually physically saw it with their eyes, I think. He talked about it,
no,
he never actually
did.
showed them.
When Dark Knightmon was digicrossing himself in the fight with the Decadramon episode with like inside that special palace thing.
No, he didn't show him. It was like an orb, and then at some point there was like a darkness thing in his hand before it was complete. But at no point did they show him like this edgy Digivice, which was unnecessarily edgy, by the way.
But we've called it the Darkness Loader before, and Shoutmon would know what a Darkness Loader is.
They've mentioned it, but they've never used one.
Right. So we find out that all the Death Generals have Darkness Loaders. Kirihara is defeated, but he escapes. And what I noticed in both versions is that Dorbigmon has a surprisingly young voice. Like, he sounds like a kid or like a young teenager or something. It's weird. He doesn't look like it. He looks like someone who would have this like gruff, like, "Ha you silly chosen children, rah ha ha" kind of voice.
Yeah, that way people do.
Dracomon says that he idolizes Blue Flare, and then Kirihara calls him weak. Kirihara then says
so soul-crushing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, "Oh, I idolize you," and Kirihara says, "Well, you're weak and I hate you."
Well, you're the worst.
Yeah. Which you're meant to, like, sympathize with Dracomon and hate Kirihara in this moment, because we get the next episode to...
Well, very fair, I do.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's making me hate Kirihara, and that's what it's meant to do, which is good. Kirihara then turns to Taiki and says that he's come back to die, and all hope is lost. And I was like, wow, this is dark.
Well... It's funny because I sort of gave some thought to this, and I go, well, why would Kirihara be acting this way? And I sort of theorized that if Kirihara had spent let's say it's been 6 months, right?
Yeah.
If he's spent the last 6 months thinking to himself, you know what, when Taiki gets here, everything is going to get, like, solved, and he's going to save the day, because that's what he always does, that's his job, pretty much. Mm-hmm. And then Taiki shows up, and it's, like, really underwhelming.
Yeah. Well,
Wouldn't he be this way?
But he was. We find out in the next episode when Nene says, "But you've been wanting for him to come back all this time."
Yeah.
So, yeah, we find out that that's actually the case. Like, he is acting terribly and awful because, like, he wanted Taiki back, and he said, Taiki will fix this, he's the protagonist.
All this stuff has been, like, really interesting, consistent storytelling, which is kind of amazing. It's like did they get a new writing team between seasons?
I'm pretty sure this was written by the main Xros Wars writer. Who did, like, the first chunk of episodes in the first season when you said, hey, this isn't that bad.
Oh, well, you know what? It shows. That's all I gotta say about it.
Well, you can always tell when it's, like, the head writer because the episode's kind of, like, I don't know, more consistent and the characters are kind of better. I don't know.
Yeah, clearly. Like, this is the vision. This is what they always wanted. But it shocks me that they don't just let them write all the episodes. It's probably a lot of work, but, like, they'll do a better job.
Well, I don't think any season of anything, even, like, American stuff, consistently has the same writer on every episode. Like, they'll have guest writers and they'll have, like, recurring writers. Like, the main writer won't always write an episode. It's like, if you watch The X-Files, you know that there are lots of
and your X-Files.
You know that every episode has got a different writer, and you know that if you see Chris Carter there, you know it's going to be a good one because he made the show. Like, you're like, Chris Carter's got this one right, it's a good episode. Like, you just know. Like, because he's the main writer. But yeah, it's probably a lot of work to come up with a full seasons. But, yeah, you can kind of tell. I'm pretty sure it's the main writer. Anyway, so Shoutmon mentions that he can evolve, and everyone sort of says, hey, that only happens when there's a requirement that's met, and again, in the dub, there's no mention of the requirement of a specific condition or something, which is really annoying that they don't mention that specific condition, because it is important, and then when we have evolution later on, we know that a specific condition has been met.
Everyone thinks that the specific condition is like age and experience, though, presumably, right?
Yeah, but no, like, it's not specific, like, said what it is, like, if it's age or experience. They just said, oh yeah, it only you can't just make evolution happen, which
You can't just
is
make
good.
fetch happen.
You know what's good about, like, you know when in previous seasons where you've always gone, like, for example, like, when were the armor evolutions ever used in, like, the second half of 02? Like, they, as soon as they have evolutions, like, we evolve now. Because we can all the time, unless there's a Dark Tower, but they never really had that as a problem. In this season, they seem to be giving a reason why they can't go straight to their strongest, like impossibly strong, full-grown future form, or whatever they call it.
Yeah, they can't... Well, I mean, the thing is, though, it's not even that strong, is it? Because they use Omega, Shoutmon, and Xros 5, like, interchangeably.
Yeah, but it also means that he doesn't need to have all the other Digimon inside him to make him that strong. And I also like the fact that, hey, why don't we just always go to Cross 5B? That seems to be the strongest one. Maybe we want Beelzemon for something. And I really like that. Like,
on one hand, yes. On the other hand, in that fight where they wanted Beelzemon for something else, they didn't take him out until the end of the fight.
Yeah.
Because they didn't give it any thought.
Yeah, my point is that the thing I like about Xros Wars is that there's always a reason not to go to the highest form. Like, they always say, we need to do this. Or, we need to be smaller than that. We can't just have Cross 5. Or, we just need Jet Sparrow for this one. Like, I don't know. I like it because it's more than just like, hey, evolve to your strongest form and now attack big. It's more than that. Well, I appreciate
specifically, what I really like is these episodes here. I think this one and the next one, or is it just this one twice? I think it is. Where it was the last one and this one, where the humans come up with ideas and they like implement them and they work in a way that you could say like if the humans didn't even have Digimon partners, they could still fight. Like the pedals that disable things and the bomb that they use later in this episode.
Yeah.
Did you get any of the like little hints of V-Tamer from that?
Yeah, it was like that because in V-Tamer it was always like, okay, now use that poison on him by putting it on your tail. But that's smart. Like it's involving the humans, and while it uses the Digimon a little bit to be there, I don't know, it is nice. It's great. I like it.
I like it.
Like, I don't know. I don't really understand when people say that Adventure's their favourite season when the kids just stood there and says, okay, now attack. Oh, we're not winning. Oh, now we're going to unlock a new evolution. Okay, now we're winning.
It's because everything was new back then.
But no, but even now when people have seen every season of Digimon, they say, Adventure's my favourite. I'm like, okay.
But you
it
still
has
do
some
have
good
to
episodes.
You have to give Adventure credit for all the new ideas, like the digital world and evolution. Yeah, that gets reused incredibly hard over the course of the years, and sometimes new stuff's added, etc. But like Adventure did it all first, so it gets full credit for even having those at all.
Yeah, no, that is true. When people say that 02 is better than Adventure, I'm just like, okay.
Oh no, it's not.
It tries.
Oh, that's wrong. Oh.
But my point is that when I'm watching Xros Wars, it feels like I'm watching, and I have the same feeling with Atmon, I'm watching a new Digimon season. Like, it's season 1 of Digimon. Like, they're starting afresh with new ideas and new things. I don't know. And that's the way you should feel when you watch a new season of Digimon. I know as a kid, I just wanted Digimon Adventure forever and just keep on, like, they're growing up with us. Haha. Try came out. I don't want that anymore. I want new stories.
The thing that bothers me, though, is, I want new things, but I kind of want the world to justify why there are new things. Like, I could totally believe that Atmon takes place in the same universe as original Adventure does, but the digital world has changed so much that it's unrecognizable. And they could have made a really strong argument for that.
That's cool.
And that's why Agumon exists. On the other hand, I hate, like, going into... I know Tamers was obviously, it's a lot of people's favorite, and
Yeah.
it's got a lot of good stuff to it. But I really didn't like that feeling of I've been in this world for this long, and now everything's reset. There's all these things you recognize, but none of them, but like they're totally displaced from their contexts. What I would prefer is the way that the Drakengard and Nier games do it,
Hmm.
which is they're all sequels to each other, but they're also all completely unrelated separate stories.
So yeah, that's like in the WonderSwan games where Rio is in their universe, if the adventure universe, and they're actually talking about Tai because they're saying, "Hey, remember that time that all those like weird things happened?" Like they actually address, "Oh, hey, remember those Digimon?"
Yeah,
And they
absolutely.
and there's actually a line when he's talking online to his online friends, and someone said, "Hey, didn't that Tai guy say something about Digimon?" And then he meets, like, when Rio goes to the digital world, he actually meets the partner Digimon and Jedi, and it's just so he's sort of like in that world, but like disconnected. And I like that. I know the WonderSwan games apparently aren't the best written stories, but nice premise.
Well, they're probably not the best written in, like bit by bit, but the concept of them sounded interesting at least.
Yeah,
Actually, no, they sounded
and
really dumb and over the top, so fair enough, actually.
meanwhile we also have the Atmon games, which are also, I believe, happening at the same time as the anime, or something along those lines. I believe there's another one there's something else that also is existing in the same world as another one. Probably just Morio stuff. Oh, remember those crossovers in V-Tamer? Those were good. I like those.
No, those were good.
More of those.
I really like that when you sort of see somebody, and you're like, that's cool, he's doing his thing. You're aware of him, so you have that emotional significance. But somebody who's new to this, who wouldn't have that, that's cool, they don't need it either.
Yeah.
So that's the way you can do sequels that are their own worlds, where it sort of respects what came before it, not just ditches it all in the trash, like, haha, who cares? It's not the 90s anymore.
Yeah. Anyway, so Dorbigmon finds the main characters, and Shoutmon asks Taiki to use a Digimemory, and Taiki says that they're all too big. And then he finds Tailmon, who's like, oh no, Tailmon's not too big, and then he uses Tailmon to cut through the little bit of earth they're in. Kiraha calls Dracomon weak again because he's awful, and Shoutmon says that he's brave and strong, and Dracomon tries to stop the lava by himself because he's motivated, and he's
Well,
about to die. Yep.
his plan doesn't make the most sense.
Yeah, he's basically doing a very dumb thing,
Well,
but it's kind of meaningful.
Let's
I don't know,
explain
I
that
love
for a
him.
second, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing you see is lava's coming up at him, and he starts breathing fire. And you're like, well, how is he going to stop lava with fire? And then he aims at the roof, and it starts to melt the rock on the roof, and you're like, he will stop the lava by making more lava. And the only reason his plan even had a chance of maybe working is because the show played around with physics, and he
Yeah.
somehow managed to melt off square chunks of the roof, obviously nonsense, and then they would land and not be lava anymore immediately. And even then, the lava just goes over them. So it still did nothing.
Well, it triggers
Actually-
Shoutmon to evolve,
actually-
which is the thing it's meant to.
Yeah, I just realized because he puts down volume in there, displaces lava, it not only didn't buy time, it lost them time because lava doesn't need to fill that space anymore.
They're not physicists.
Yeah, you don't need to be physicists. This is common sense. I'm really bad at math. I'm terrible at it.
Look, do you honestly think this blue little dragon has any, like, shred of common sense or
It's your
anything?
favorite Digimon. I would assume it would.
No. Dracomon's a dumb little baby dragon.
Yeah, this dragon's idiot.
Yeah, look at this dumb little baby with tiny little wings. How does that thing even fly? I don't
It
know,
doesn't.
he's cute though.
It just doesn't.
I love Dracomon. I will die for him. He's a nice little shade of blue too. Anyway, so Shoutmon evolves, and we find out that Dorbigmon has heard of Taiki. So that's exciting. Then, in episode 32, Dorbigmon Darkness Mode beats Omega Shoutmon, and he says, I'll only let you live if Taiki joins me. So I want to point out that he's specifically he's inviting Taiki and Shoutmon. In the dub, he only asks Shoutmon. Which is like, I don't know, I think I prefer that when he's asking Taiki and Shoutmon, as in, with a cross heart should join me, rather than, I want this dragon Digimon to join me. I don't know,
I think the
feels like
dragon
it
makes
carries
more
something.
sense. It's more
I
to
know,
his
but-
character.
I know, but it carries more like, oh yeah, I guess he does come across as a bit racist, like he wants to kill every other type,
hugely
yeah.
racist. The entire point of the dragon race is, oh, we're the strongest, and thus we are in this position. He has no respect for humans at all.
I mean, dragons are like, the Dramon are meant to be like the legendary strongest Digimon.
Yeah, tell that to Seedramon.
Yeah, who's a chump. And we have the Dramon killer from War Greymon, who just can, like...
It's just his hands.
Yeah.
Catch these hands.
So they're saved by something called the Weeping Dragon Flower, who is Nene, by the way, very obviously.
I mean, who
Taki
is?
does not...
That's not her name. That's the name of the flower she's throwing.
Yeah, I mean, Nene is doing it, I mean.
Yes,
And
she's
she
Ohanamon.
Yeah, so she uses the same name as Taiki, which I like.
So did she hear him, or what?
I don't know. I think it's just a case of... Look, we can either look at it two ways. It's a great case of great minds think alike, or
That's not the case.
she's been doing what she was doing last season and just watching and not helping.
I mean, she's helping now.
In the dub, she has a different name, so...
It's like Petalmon, and I'm like,
It's
why?
Petalamon, yeah.
Why? Why ruin that joke?
Because she really likes giving advice.
Probably because they had that thought that I did. It was like, why wouldn't she have helped before then?
Yeah. Well, she's Nene. So they're able to escape, and yeah, it's surprised it's Nene, and everyone's surprised, and I don't know why. It was very obviously Nene. And she says she's been infiltrating and investigating. We find out that Dorbikmon has the other members of Team Crossheart hostage, and he says he wants to execute them, like, live in front of everyone, which is very, like... That seems to be the theme in Xros Wars, is that live executions are a big thing.
You know what? Specifically with electro cages.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a thing. I guess Bargra
So the
Army
same
kind
setup,
of
too.
Yeah, with
They
the
weren't
huge
Bargra
bars.
Armor back then. That was a different place.
Yeah, no, they were still working for the Bargra Army. It was one
No,
of
they
the...
weren't.
yeah, it was
The
ancient...
Heavenland guys.
Yeah, it was Volcamon. He was working for Bargra Army.
I thought they were all independent. I thought they had turned into a police state to keep the Bargra Army away from them.
Oh, no, I was talking about when Tactimon put Darulamon and Taiki in a cage, the same cage.
No, I'm talking about when they were going to murder the little angel thing.
Oh, yeah, no, okay. Yeah, I was talking about the
How
Bargra Army
many
ones.
death cages are there?
So many. As I said, public execution, big thing in this season.
But the Heavenland one was specifically an electro cage, which is what this
Yeah.
one is. Same shape, too. Stored in the same way.
Anyway, so yeah, in the dub, it's punished, because of course it is. We see a Betamon and a Garnimon are talking, and Nene as an alligator shows up, and this is probably, like, one of the funniest scenes in Digimon I've seen for a long time. It's just, like, she just sneaks, and the Garnimon and Betamon, like, expressions get, like, She just pops up, and she's like, can I ask you some questions? It's great, I love it. Taiki has a plan, and Kiriha's not sure, because he says that Dracomon's incompetent. And these two episodes are just basically Kiriha throwing insults at Dracomon, which is really sad, because Dracomon loves him. Taiki says that they should trust Dracomon because he rescued them. I guess he kind of, sort of rescued Kiriha earlier, but before he almost killed them. Anyway, Kiriha's mad and says they can't work together, and then he storms off. Nene then confronts him and says how he's very dishonest because he wanted Taiki to come back.
Ooh.
And Kiriha now says that he feels powerless and weakness is evil. And Nene says that weaknesses will make him stronger. And I love this because this is exactly what Kiriha said to her earlier on, like last season.
I really like to think this is all a response to his, like, crippling disappointment that Taiki
Yeah.
didn't already solve all their problems.
Yeah. In the dub, Nene says that he's not alone and he's stronger than he thinks. I don't know, it's just... I like the weakness is strength sort of thing, because that's, again, a callback to what she said, like, he said to her last season, and it's, I don't know.
She didn't communicate it very well.
I don't know, it's important to me. Dorbikmon has tactics and has set up other Digimon around the area, so Taiki can't rescue them. Kiriha tells Dracomon that he's stronger than he is, and he asks why he can be so brave, and Dracomon says that it's his pride as a dragon. Kiriha then thinks about pride and pride of a dragon, and Greymon and male Birdramon say that they want to fight, even though they're still hurt. Dracomon has collapsed the waterfall with a bomb, and Taiki's able to rescue his friends, and he says that it was all Dracomon's idea. Dorbikmon digicrosses himself with his whole army, because of course he would. And then Taiki only now considers putting the giant cage but Sparrowmon is carrying into the crossloader. And I don't know why he couldn't just do that from the start. Also, I'd like to point out they actually go through the bars. So I'm not sure why Taiki didn't just try holding up the crossloader to the bars and getting them in earlier. I don't know. It's
But
weird.
see, the thing is, the bars were so wide across, even like Beelzebub could have just walked out of them.
Yeah. Cumon definitely could.
Yeah, for sure.
And the Starmons.
Cumon was just being polite. Yeah, the Pikmons, they're tiny. How can you possibly hold them?
And they also vomit smaller versions of themselves.
And they can turn it into lockpicks.
Yeah. Because they're very small and they can do things like that. The show has shown us this, but I guess we have to just believe they were trapped.
The show has shown in this.
They're very, very electric, the things. You can't even go through them, I guess. I don't know. They should have at least shown us the Pikmon trying to get through and being electrocuted, because then we're like, oh, no, you can't get through. I don't know. Anyway, so Taiki makes Cross 5B, and we don't get that cool Nene Digicross animation that we got last season, which is sad. We only got that once.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe when it's, a big crescendo moment of the season.
Also,
or maybe never again, who knows?
Also, Sparrowmon might have been out of the loader at this point and wasn't before, so that might be why Nene's cross-loader wasn't involved. I don't know. So Cross 5B gets easily beaten, and Dorbikmon grabs Dracomon. Metal Greymon rescues Dracomon, and Kiriha says he knows he's not strong enough to beat Dorbikmon, but he still has his pride. In the dub, Kiriha calls Dracomon a brave little dragon, and it's so cute.
Aww.
So that's something the dub does well.
There's a distinction, right, between just like pride in the English and like a dragon's pride. They make a point of that, right, in the Japanese. Or am I making a mistake here? I feel like there's something specific about it in the Japanese.
I think they say both.
Yeah, right.
I think they use dragon's pride as well as.
I mean, that's obviously coming from like that sort of race background where the dragons all think of themselves as superior, but I think there's a lot of interesting stuff you can draw out of it, of like, a pride that is inalienable, which might be particularly inspiring, especially like to Greymon, who technically falls into this category. I know he's not a dragon, but he's a dragon/dinosaur, and that's apparently good enough.
Anyway, then we get probably one of the coolest moments in the season, where Greymon's horn breaks, and Kiriha's hit straight in the head with a rock, and he says that Dracomon taught them about pride, and then he looks up and his face is just covered in blood, because the rock hit him straight in the face. In the dub, the hit and the blood is cut. It just looks like that Christopher was just a little bit hit back by the wind. I don't know. It's still like a big moment, but without the bleeding face and his determination, I don't know. It seems less. Dorbikmon makes a giant sword and attacks male Bergemon's wings, and Kiriha's shouting about pride, and Dracomon cheers him on. Metal Greymon gets Super Evolution, and he defeats Dorbikmon, and the kingdom is now owned by Crossheart and Blue Flare. And then Dorbikmon laughs and says, ha ha ha, I was the weakest, how will you hope to defeat the other bosses, ha ha.
The most shonen nonsense line a boss says. It's
so shonen, yeah.
I am the first of the 13 like hateful generals.
Yeah, it's very shonen. Nene says they shouldn't have to be in separate teams anymore, and we find out that Dracomon is going to Kiriha and he's tagging along, and this is important because we haven't actually had any characters that don't go with Taiki. Like, all the characters we've met always say, hey, I want to go with Team Crossheart now, and this one's saying, I want to go with Kiriha. I don't know, it is,
Well, it was Shoutmon being like, no, you go there. Dracomon, you go with them.
Yeah, it's like trying to get rid of him.
Sacrificing him to Blue Flare.
Maybe he just didn't like him because he was just a blue version of himself.
He's a little bit like that. They're also both dumb.
What do you think of this episode as someone who is new to Digimon?
It was okay. It set up a bunch of stuff. I think it had some good things in it. I liked it more the more I thought about Kiriha's like a motivation for why he is the way he is. Because I did sort of call this the feeling I had in Obnoxious Synopsis, but about the second one, where I thought, it'd be weird about Kiriha having... we're doing 1 and 2 together. I sort of called this idea of, like, Kiriha, like, being beaten down, and, he needs to be convinced that there's something that they can do. But it makes sense and they don't give you quite enough, but it makes sense in that context of him putting up all this fight and then being disappointed when he finally sees, okay, the thing I've been hoping for and holding out for this whole time, there was no point waiting for it, because it's not the automatic fix that I was kind of probably subconsciously hoping for. Because there's no way that Kiriha would have outwardly, like, he would never have outwardly said, I think that this is the case, I think that, Taiki's going to be our savior. He thinks he's the savior, but he eventually gives up.
Yeah. I really like the Kiriha moments, and we still sort of have that clip again, which reminds me of Thomas in Savers, where he's, like, crying in black and white. So we still have that, like, scene that we were given in the second episode. It was just... I know, I'm liking Kiriha more, and that's good. I feel like the show is making me feel the way I should about Kiriha. Like, oh man, he's so awful. He keeps on calling this new dragon friend horrible things. Like, oh no, it turns out he's just feeling completely hopeless because Taiki didn't save the day. I don't know. It's nice. How would you rate both these episodes?
So the first one, It's like a 5 or a 6, and the second one is a 7 because
I
honestly,
get.
it's beginning to get, especially all the dragon
Hmm.
flower stuff and the creativity of the bomb on the waterfall. I actually quite liked all of that.
Yeah, I gave the first one a 7 and the second one an 8. So I'm like, yeah, 7 for both is like, I don't know. I like these episodes. I feel like it's a pretty strong start to the new mini season. I'm pretty happy with it so far. And as I've mentioned many times, this is, I think, the fans' favourite season of Cross Wars, like the second part.
It makes a lot of sense. It feels very different.
Yeah. Everyone always will say that the manga is the best part of Cross Wars.
Boo! I don't have to read more.
But I really enjoyed the second part, but I think the third part has a lot of memorable bits, and I can't wait till we get to the memorable bits in the third part. How did both these episodes compare to predictions of Obnoxious Synopsis?
I was actually weirdly on point about how Kiriha's emotion, like his state would be, and how he has
You're
to
also
sort of be dragged up from the bottom about that.
you're also pretty hopeful about it. Like you said that at least the first one would be a 7.
Well, I was sort of reversed on it. I thought it would get worse, but it obviously got better. And I don't know. I definitely didn't imagine what Dragonland would look like.
Yeah, well, with the flowers out the front, yeah.
And I am just as annoyed that it's pretty evident. Like, yeah, the bad guys have this plan of collecting negative energy, which totally justifies them going off and being horrendous. But then when you find out what that plan is about, the ultimate day of destruction, you're like, okay, and how does that benefit you at all?
And what was the major difference between the Japanese and the English version?
That's
Mine was just a special requirement. There
very
weren't that
good
many.
question. I don't know.
The
Didn't
special
feel
requirement.
that difference. Probably the
Yeah.
Pebblebon Ohanamon thing because it carries a lot
Yeah.
of like deep implications
Yeah,
about
that Nene was there the whole time.
about her involvement. Yeah.
Yeah. The third episode, so episode 33, starts up with Taiki opening the gate with the gate open because it's not zone transfer anymore. And we
They
have
did spend like a
Wise-
minute talking about that.
Yeah, and I feel like, oh, it is different. Like, you can't, there aren't zones anymore. They're kingdoms, so you have to use different terminology. And I like that. I like that they're trying to be a little bit different from the last season because otherwise it'd be repetitive, even though it's sort of more or less the same thing. Wisemon pipes up and says that Dorbigmon was getting negative energy for something. Kiriha separates from Nene and Taiki because he wants to, because he's still like kind of like that edgy rival character, which I'm fine with. I don't want him to like all of a sudden join their side like very suddenly. I like him being a bit distant because he's that kind of guy.
I don't know. The ditching them into the other side tunnel was complete nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, like, they ended up in the same place anyway, but a
Well,
bit
that's
later, I guess.
I was like, oh, the moment he leaves, okay, it's a filler episode now. It can't be a real episode if the entire team they need to win is not there. And obviously he rejoins them like, okay, stop being a filler now. Don't worry about it.
Filler avoided.
Filler off. But wow, he's really dumb. Nene just gave the speech of we really need to be united against the bad guys because they're all against us. And he's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go off on my own.
No,
Idiot.
I'm the rival.
Also, why would they even bother? Because him going off down the side tunnel puts himself in significant danger, and there's no way that he knows it's headed to the same kingdom, which means that they're going to have to defeat their generals independently, or they're never going to meet up again. It's so dumb.
I don't know, I feel like maybe his ego was a little bit hurt because Taiki did turn out to make everything better, maybe? I don't know. He's
I mean,
weird.
maybe, but it's really dumb, and yeah, even with his ego, I can understand him, like, being upset and, crumbling to something long term, but just making really, really dumb decisions doesn't seem quite right.
Yeah. So they're in this really scary village, and we find out this general is also sending negative energy to the Bagra army. Nene sees somebody and scares everyone, and it turns out to be Lotmon. Yay! We find out that a Lady Devimon was chasing him. She dies, but she comes back to life, and now there are 3 because they're immortal. So we find out that the general is a vampire.
Wait, what? That's not
Yeah.
a because statement. There just are 2 more.
Yeah, but she's immortal. She can just come back to life.
Or did they disprove that as a term later? It's not that they're immortal, they just have really strong healing.
Yeah, they regenerate. The Lotmon village that's nearby has Chocomon that evolved to Lotmon, and Lady Devimon drag the Lotmon away. Sparrowmon then scares everyone by saying what a vampire is probably doing. And I really love this part. It's so funny. I love Sparrowmon. Like, do you like this part? I like this part.
Sort of.
Nene suggests that they make Jet Sparrow because they need to fly. In the dub, Nene just says, we should join forces. I don't know. I like it that Nene actually said, hey, you should fuse Sparrowmon and Shoutmon.
It's not refusing though. It's just riding it.
Yeah.
It's just
But
sitting
it's-
on Sparrowmon. Oh, they're fused. Wink, wink.
Yeah. I think he's got like hand-holdy things, I don't know. Then Kiriha shows up and tells Metal Greymon to not stop shooting, because if they can't have time to regenerate, they'll be unable to regenerate.
I guess
Shoutmon gets shot. Yep.
I know what they mean, which is like if you destroy the body, then
They can't
even if
reform.
they are technically alive in the sense that they have a ghost, they have nothing to inhabit. But that's a very complicated concept.
Yeah. Anyway, so in the dub, when Shoutmon's shot, it seems to be more on purpose in the dub, as Greymon says, out of the way, runt. And it's not just a mistake, it's weird. In the original, it's very much, oh, Shoutmon was just in the way. In this, it's just like, Greymon just didn't care. Kiriha says that he split up because he didn't want them to drag him down, and Kiriha says he wants to take down the general. And Taiki says, no, we should defeat him together. Did you not hear what Dorbigmon said? We won't be strong enough, we should be together.
Kiriha, you're real dumb.
Yeah, in the dub, it's really weird because Mikey says that Kiriha's right, and they should they should split up and then come to attack together later on. And I'm just like, are they making Taiki like unintentionally stupid?
No, they're making him intentionally stupid. He's the goggle kid.
I know, but the thing I like about Taiki is that he's smart. Like,
He's
he
not-
actually has... He
he's
has
not.
in the original... Okay, Taiki is smart and has tactics because he's a general. Mikey is a little bit dumb.
No, Taiki likes to help people and will often do stupid things to do it.
Yeah, but he's tactical, at least.
Sometimes. He
I
picks
guess.
things up very quickly. That's what he does. He learns well. Which means that his character arc should be about, like, making mistakes
Yeah.
and then learning from them.
Yeah. I don't know. Taiki's a good boy. Lotmon says sorry, and Chocomon says that Taiki will save them because Lotmon has returned to the Lotmon village. We find that Cutemon is disguised as a Lotmon, and Taiki Nene are disguised as Lady Devimon. In the dub, Cutemon is just not happy with the idea and is complaining the whole time. And then when Taiki says, in the dub, he says how they can just say, maybe, like, if they don't believe us, we'll just say that he's a rare one. And then later on, when they're walking through in the dub, Lady Devimon talks about how it looks really weird, but maybe it's just a rare one. In the original, there's none of this dialogue, and when she first sees him, she's like, looks like a Lotmon to me. Like, she's just dumb.
None of them have any commentary whatsoever on the fact that they're dressed as the worst Lady Devimon ever.
Yeah. And the thing is that Lady Devimon's dumb. Like, they're just the grunts.
Well, I do appreciate the fact that the grunts are really dumb. And they
Yeah.
sort of established that with the Davidramons looking at Taiki, and he's like, I'm Ohanamon. They go, yeah, sure.
Seems
And-
legitimate.
Oh, Shoutmon, yeah, okay. I've never heard of you, apparently.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, Dorbigmon immediately goes, Shoutmon, I know who this is.
Yeah, because he's a general. And I like how they're actually... I don't know. It's good. I like it. Anyway, so Lotmon follows them to the barrier, which is very dumb and very stupid, because he should know that, yeah, they're trying to save him. Don't go in there. You'll get eaten. The Lady Devimon notices that Nene's sneaking off, and then Taiki pretends that Lotmon is escaping and uses that as a distraction.
It bothers me that before sneaking off, she didn't even, like, look around to see if anyone was looking right at them. Because Lady Devimon was obviously looking directly at them the moment they
Yeah.
started moving.
Yeah. No, it is a little bit. Taiki goes to a room with a coffin, and then Monotomon's there, and in the dub, Monotomon says
Okay, that's
vampire...
not... That is not what happened.
What do you
can't
mean?
describe it that way. First of all, as they get caught running away, Taiki comes up with the plan of saying, oh, the Lotmon's trying to escape, and so
Yeah.
Nene and Lady Devimon start chasing after him. Now that
Yeah.
there is a distraction created, Taiki summons the Monotomon, who they'd released into the castle to recon the place earlier, and it appears behind him, and then the Monotomon leads him to the coffin room.
Yes.
Yeah, it didn't just discover a room with a coffin in it, and then there was a Monotomon there.
Yeah, so they go to the room with the coffin.
So what I'm saying is that there was a lot of planning involved in this, and
Yeah.
it was kind of clever.
Yeah, it was clever. Yeah, you're right. I just skipped over that part. But yeah, we can talk about it. So in the dub, Monotomon says that vampires sleep during the day, and it's nighttime always here, so he won't be in the coffin. Surprise, by the way, Neovamdamon's in the coffin.
Why didn't they even think of, like, maybe we should check? Maybe we should just, like, do a little glance.
Well,
Maybe.
at least, this is something the dub did that I preferred, is that Monotomon gave a reason why Neovamdamon's not there, so they have a reason not to check, because Neovamdamon's not there because it's nighttime.
That's in the original, too.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like it's
No,
more
it's
explained.
straight up in the original. It's nighttime. It's probably not there.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that. Anyway, by the way, do you remember Neo Vamdemon from being in V-Tamer?
I don't honestly.
He was one of
Oh,
the
he's a
Digimon Neo created.
yeah.
Yeah, which has
Wow.
never shown up in anything except for this.
That's definitely not super weird to have a Neo monster in this.
Well, we've had Neo. I think it's Devimon, and he was part of the Demon Corps in Zero Two. I
Yeah,
think.
we don't talk about that.
No, that has the best episode in Zero Two, and one of the best episodes, which is I believe the first episode in that arc, which is the one where I mentioned constantly as the best scene in Zero Two, where Hikari is like, "Hey, we need to tell these kids to kill Digimon because they're not going to do it."
That is the best scene in all of Zero Two. Like 100%, no contest.
The Dogamon stuff.
I don't even know who that is, so it can't be that good.
The one the Dark Ocean that never went anywhere ever. Not even.
Yeah, that
tried.
wasn't that good. That wasn't that good.
Still think it's a strong part.
Only if it led to something, which it never does.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to, but no, it didn't. It was also just the writer of Lane being the writer of Lane.
Wow, the worst, most disappointing writer in all of anime, huh? Oh,
What? Tamers is good.
strong words from me.
Yeah. Spoilers. Jay was not a fan of Lane.
Oh, what a show that was up its own butt forever.
Like, yeah, I mean, maybe everyone just really likes it because they saw it at the time. Maybe it was really good at the time in 2018.
My favorite thing is like the hyper fan theories, which all begin with, "Now I have no idea what happened, but this is what I think happened."
Yeah, and it was all and like the one we reread that was on that GeoCities site.
That was great.
Yeah.
And
anyway,
nonsense.
so Neo Vamdemon says that he knew Taiki would screw up, and he asks why Taiki fights, and Taiki says, "Hey, I want to save everyone." And
I
he's
don't
like,
know, but I'll keep fighting to find that answer.
Yeah. Very shonen. Anyway, Lotmon grabs the crossloader, so that's quick resolution, and Taiki can make cross 5.
It was so funny. It's like, I took a crossloader, and it's like, I took it back.
That was that resolution, I guess. Get that
Did you know that
squared
I
away.
could fly? Haha, gotcha.
Yeah. So now we have a reason for Lotmon being there, which is good. Neo Vamdemon is very strong.
Not strong enough to hold onto a crossloader.
Yeah, apparently. And Kiriha tells Cross 5 to fight the hordes of Devimon, and he'll fight Neo Vamdemon.
Does not go well.
No, it does not. Neo Vamdemon uses the Darkness Loader to basically just become bigger. Some Digimon make themselves like a steed to go on, like, you know, one of the combination of the Holy Beasts. He just kind of grows a little bit. Kiriha says that this is his fight. No idea why. Like, if there was nothing at stake. Like, I feel like when a character says, "Hey, this is my fight," it has to be something personal. No, Kiriha it's in the script. I don't know.
Well, I think this is this is all an extension of that weird character thing he's doing where he's trying to be on his own.
Yeah.
And presumably this is going to be the big catalyst for him to realize, okay, when you go on your own, really, really bad things happen.
Yeah, and that is the trend. You're right. Like, it's always, hey, when I work with Taiki, I get an evolution and we win. When I work alone, my Digimon gets digicrossed with the evil general, which now happens.
Insane. Also, here's a question for you.
Yeah?
If Sharpmon's Digicross fell apart because the other Digimon didn't trust him enough, wouldn't Greymon just fall out?
No, that was to do with the core not being strong enough.
Oh, it had nothing to do with trust. That was them misleading us.
Yeah, they did trust him, and he didn't want to like tell anyone because of that, and he only told Ballistamon because they're best friends. By the way, Ballistamon has not said anything this season.
It's been 3 episodes.
Yeah, and he talks
Cutemon only just showed up.
Yeah. Anyway, so end of episode, we get the Digimon data collection, and something I noticed that's really weird in the dub, that last episode in the dub, the data collection was more or less silent the entire time. And this one has Mikey talking and even giving, like, Pandamon a weird, this evolution line. Like, he says, hey, he evolves from this, Grismon, and then he evolves further. And he's just like, okay, why didn't you talk at all last time? It's like, it feels inconsistent. Like, it's, if they have anything to say, they'll say everything. If they have nothing to say, it'll be silent and weird.
If they got no mouths, they'll say everything.
If they have no mouths, then they must speak a lot. What do you think of this episode as someone who's new to Digimon?
I thought it was pretty good. All things considered, like, I had like no hope whatsoever for Neo Vamdemon because it's just a kind of joke villain, isn't he? And it's based on Vamdemon, and it's really random, and the vampire place. But you know what? They pretty well justified the fact that there was a vampire place, and that, well, the spookier it is, the more negative energy you get out of these Digimon. And, Neo Vandemon, well, not a compelling villain by himself, very much a who hits hardest sort of villain, like, sets up this interesting character development for Kiriha here, where he has to learn, hubris, that thing that people eventually always learn. And, I don't know, there's enough interesting character stuff going on and funny scenarios. Just that complete nonsense with them dressing up as Lady Devimon. Everyone's like, yeah, right, close enough. I don't know, it was kind of wacky and fun, so I actually kind of enjoyed it.
What rating?
7.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I gave it a 7 as well. Like, I liked this episode. It was clever. It was funny, but not, like, overdoing it and funny. It was pretty solid, a pretty solid episode. I enjoy this continuation of Kiriya having, like, doubts about himself. I'm always a big fan of, like, giving characters actual growth.
Really?
Taiki continues to be fantastic because I love him. How did it compare to Predictions of Obnoxious Synopsis, where you gave it a 3?
I thought it would be dumb in a filler episode, so I was wrong. Although, it looked very close to right.
Yeah, but also Lotmon's in it.
Yeah, well, that helps.
What was the major difference between the Japanese and English version? Because I don't have any.
Yeah, I've got nothing. Hold on a second. I've got, like, one comment, I think. Oh, yeah, I think it's that Lady Devimon, like, talks about Myotismon in advance, so to let everyone know that that's the bad guy. But we already knew that from the last one, so it's not like it was a reveal.
Yeah.
I think she said he was in the car. No, it wasn't that. She was
also
talking about his...
the dub seems to make the Lady Devimon even, like, sort of suspicious about the Lotmon Cutemon. In the original, they just, like, believe it fully, and the dub is like, maybe he is just a rare one. So, thoughts on the new part? How does this mini season start? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What do you think?
You know what? It's definitely the best part of this season.
That's good.
It's because it feels like the first episode, but there are 3 of them.
Yeah, I agree. I'm enjoying it so far. It is very, like, same, but different. Like, this whole, like, kingdoms and zones sort of, like, the difference between them. But I'm kind of happy they're trying something different.
It gives me the feeling of, like, the creator put down this basic idea, walked away, all these other writers got in there, came back and was like, oh, not like that, though. Do it better. Yeah. Do it like this.
Also, why is Shoutmon not selfish and horrible?
That's the one thing that hasn't changed, that hasn't gone back. But fair enough, it's been a lot of development there. Well, not necessarily development, but there's been too much time.
What are your thoughts on Kiriha? He had a lot of focus these episodes.
I think this is the best sort of character work he's had. Because what's the character work he had before this? He has so much heart.
Angry.
And then learn nothing.
Yeah. I'm really happy that Dracomon joined Blue Flare. He fits in with Blue Flare. He is a blue dragon. It fits. Speaking of Dracomon, what are your thoughts on him as a Digimon that was introduced this week? Do you think he's cute? I think he's very cute.
Oh, Dracomon, sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's cute, obviously. I don't know what you want from me here. I'm sure we've talked about this Digimon before.
Yeah, we have.
Cannot be the first time.
First time in the anime, and probably first time on this show, because this is the first time he's ever made an appearance in something that we've been covering.
Oh, yeah. That's weird. I guess I've been, like, far too aware of this Digimon, because it's, like, on our mug.
Yeah.
I see it all the time.
Well, this is his first appearance.
It's actually not bad. It's actually surprisingly featured, because obviously most Digimon don't get that much.
Yeah, he's actually a special Digimon. He was the 10th anniversary release Digimon. Like, every 5 years we get a new Digimon that's just for that anniversary. For the 5th anniversary we got Doraemon. For the 10th anniversary we got Dracomon. 15th was Hackmon, which as in Tri-Hackmon, not Atmon Hackmon.
There's so many Hackmons.
And 20th was, I can't remember if it's Zabamon or Zubamon, but
it's
like
whatever the thing with the 20 on it is.
Yeah, it's the gold little sword monster. Hackmon and Zubamon are both sword monsters. But anyway, I feel like Doraemon and Dracomon are my favourites. I love them. They're very cute. I don't know why we have swords now. 25th is just a sword. It's just Blade Kawagamon, but with a dragon face. What are your thoughts on Dorbikmon?
You know what? It's actually a pretty good design. Terrible name. And the key thing about its design, very important, it looks like an evolution of Shoutmon.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like 100%.
Angry and pointy.
Well, like angry, pointy, red, obviously. Like, really, they just a very similar sort of design.
I really like all of the Dark General's designs, actually. They're pretty, like... There's not one that's just like, oh, well, that's an average design. They're all pretty cool.
I know Gravimon's got a cool design. Myotismon's one's whatever.
I love Neovamdemon's design. He's like a big purple thing.
I mean,
I like him.
if you insist.
I do. What about Zeke Greymon?
I it's just the big gold Greymon, right? Like I have no actual
Yeah.
direct recollection of it, which tells me it did not leave any impression whatsoever.
It's just a recolor. I had to remember that his name was Zeke Greymon. I had to look it up. I forgot. I watched the episode. I immediately forgot the name of the dude.
What is this thing? Like I only remember it was Z because it's a Z instead of an Omega.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
For Postmon Pat this week, first up, I will read the Gmails, and then Jay will read the With the Wills. So first up on Gmail from Ryuchi. Ryuchi says that they thought it was funny that Maid doesn't think that Christopher looks like Christopher, because that's actually Ryuchi's brother's name, and he always thought that Kirihara looked like a lot like him when he was younger. Ryuchi said that he liked the Shatmon episode, and it's actually the favourite in the season, but he agreed with Jay that it's a little too late. Ryuchi didn't like Shatmon at first, but him struggling was endearing. Shatmon struggling even when in pain is a lot like what Taiki does. And yeah, I also like that. I like that he's sort of growing a bit and is sort of inspired by Taiki helping others even when in pain. And Ryuchi said that he completely forgot about Cutemon's toxic masculinity, and I did too, and now I'm mad that I'm reminded by that horrible, like, boys don't cry.
That's a big part of his character.
Yeah, it's just like, I guess if someone had to be, like, full of toxic masculinity, you may as well make it the cute, pink, small boy
The
thing.
one who should be immune to it?
Yeah, I don't know.
The one who
is weird.
defies it by existing?
Yeah, it's gross. Ambermoto drew us Spidermon as Spider-Man, and it is the cutest thing so much. Thank you so much, Ambermoto. We always do appreciate when people send us art that they've done, especially when it relates to the show. It's really cute because we kept on saying how Spidermon sounds like Spidermon, or rather that's how Jace thought I was saying it. Ambermoto says that the spider costume is based on the Tom Holland version, and the webshot design is based on the version Miles Morales shoots. And the sword, used by Leopardmon, who is a giant mech used by live-action Japanese version of Spider-Man. Fun fact, Leopardmon is canon to the Marvel comic universe as he makes an appearance in the Spider-Verse storyline. Really?
I'm sorry, what?
That's interesting.
That's very recent too. Spider-Verse is very recent. That weirds me out.
Yeah.
So we got one with the will from WildWing64. It says, a point I often see brought up in discussion is how the second half of Xros Wars was originally going to be very different to what we ended up getting. I don't know how much truth there is to this, however there are some very telling signs like the tonal shift in the show itself, and most notably the toy line abruptly ending after the first half aired. Wow. Despite Omega, Shoutmon, and others being introduced having very toyetic designs, it's already been 7 years and no figures that were ever made. I honestly can't believe that.
Yeah, no, that's true. I never actually thought about it, but no figures were made for part 2 and part 3 of Xros Wars. It was only part 1.
Not even when the English version aired later, despite the Western toy line being completely different to what was released in Japan. In retrospect, watching what was essentially a toy commercial for a toy that never existed was a bit strange. And although the name of this arc is terrible, what's it named, by the way?
It's the 7 Deadly Death Generals.
That's awful. I generally recall part 2 being much stronger than the first, and I'll be interested in seeing how Jay compares them by the time we reach the end. Well, it's already mostly better. I got from Chuckmon, who says, I'm getting the feeling even Toei had no idea what they wanted with Xros Wars. Personally, I remember liking the Death Generals arc less than the first arc, which is a minority opinion. I think I may have felt it was just over-the-top continuation of the first, which is a bit over the top to begin with. The marching armies, Troopmon, which was really awful. That said, they never show up. Troopmon were in like that one flashback thing, and they never actually show. And the whole war campaign is never really developed. True. Nor does it seem to matter much overall. Also true. Could the first 30 episode arc have been told in 10? Absolutely. You know what?
Yeah.
If there were only 7 zones rather than 100, you could definitely have done it that way. Unless you like seeing tons of Taiki, which they are guilty of, there might not be that much there for you. They're actually really enjoying Taiki as a character this time around. He's a sweetheart, much like Masaru is. That's my comment. I remember that really liking the bad guys from this story and thought it was done pretty well. And they were very unlikable. I hope that holds. It weirds me out that Lilithmon is still part of the bad guy team when her only motivation for sticking around was yanked away from her.
I'd like to point out that obviously Trackmon means unlikable as in good,
the detestable
unlikable
characters. Yeah.
Like, there's difference between bad unlikable, like, oh man, I hate this character, and oh man, I hate this character, I just want to see them lose. Like, that's cool.
X-Pac heat.
Yeah, that's being worked. You are meant to feel like you are meant to not like Kiriha. You are meant to like Davis.
Well, I didn't like Davis. He had Xbox
Yeah.
heat with me. And Tokeful continues, but overall, seeing the tone of this arc as compared to the first arc, then Digimon Hunters as the next Xros Wars entries, they're not even sure even Toei had a plan for Xros Wars. Nothing in the series really pops in terms of the writing or story, development, as things move along in a very generic kind of way. The ingredients are there in places, but the writers don't do anything with them for the most part.
The sad story of Xros Wars.
Dank.
I think we got a message very, very early on in the podcast. Like, I want to say when we were covering maybe... Oh, like, for some reason I want to say 02, but it might also be in Frontier. So it's a little bit earlier, I guess. And someone said that Xros Wars seemed like it wanted to do lots of new things, but they were too scared to do any new things, so they kind of just sat there like, hey, look, a new thing. Oh, it's okay. Don't pay that much attention. Here's evolution. And... I don't know, it still feels new enough. Like, it still feels different enough to other seasons. I don't know. I'm enjoying Xros Wars.
Alright, everybody, join us for the next episode of Cells at Work. Hang on, Greemon. The rise of Shoutmon Dex.
You should just call him Shootmon.
I didn't.
Or, don't die, Greymon. Shoutmon DX is born.
And the Power Dran, the Hunters of Hooneyland.
Or, the power is absorbed. The Hunters of Honeyland. That's the same title, basically.
Really close. And Sweet Revenge, the Horrors of Hooneyland.
Or, the Laughing Hunter, General Zamielmon, the Wood Spirit. Zamielmon, probably, is probably the better way to say that. Maybe I mispronounce things too, on purpose, definitely.
Oh, for sure.
The link dump's in the description, and our Redbubble's also linked in the description, and you can get more than just shirts there too. You can contact us and stay updated. You can email us at LostinTranslationmon@gmail.com, or you can comment on this episode or message us on SoundCloud. You can follow us on @TranslationMon on Twitter, and you can find us on LostinTranslationmon on Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Lately, on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and Tumblr, I have been complaining about the third set of the Digimon Gachapon, which, comparatively to the first two sets, are terrible. Anyway. We now know why we didn't see previews of them, like we have with the previous ones, and they just went to the fourth set for some reason for previews. Now we know. Anyway, so we have a discussion on the With the Will, and a red thread in the Digimon subreddit, and we would appreciate if you would review us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and any other podcast listening app you use. Ratings really assist people finding out about the podcast, so please do it. Please, we'll also read it out. Yay! And we have a website where you can vote in polls, check our release schedule, and check out our blog posts.
And you can donate to our Patreon, which is linked in the description, from as little as $1 a month, which gets you access to our listener Slack chat group, but there are higher levels with more rewards, such as notes, early episodes, and more. And thank you to our Patreon supporters, Sam Krieger, Stevie, who's Stevie Padmon on Tumblr, and is currently taking commissions there, Joe, Anime Guy, who's Anime Guy Kurosaki and the number 1 on YouTube, Chuckmon, Hiro Lado, who's at Fight Feng Huang on Twitter, Jason Morosky, Ryuchi, who's Frost from Radic on Archive of Our Own, and Inkit.com/Wyden Allen, Stephen Reeves, who's at Wildwing64, nope, it's just Wildwing64 on Archive of Our Own, Kaidawashi, Mac, Noam, Riku, Chisai, who you can follow at Chisai236 on Tumblr, Kyle, the Lady Bugman, whose anime blog you can read at baguburagu.wordpress.com, Glitchgoat, Matthew, Anthony, who's at AntoClassic on Twitter, Lizmet, who's a Lekmon on Tumblr, Quinn, Sithobi, Megan, Kyliak, Neobu, The Time Optimist, Silverhead Freak 25, who's at SHF25 tweets on Twitter, Nicholas, Anthony Z, Harrison, and Michael C.
I'm sorry, did you say Anthony Z? We are Australian.
Anthony Z.
Anthony Z.
Anthony Z.
Also, I'd like to point out that previously Anthony was Anthony V, but I don't know where I got the V from, but when I was checking Patreon the other day, it was actually Anthony Z, so I'm really sorry. You have a last name that's accurate now, I think, unless you were Anthony V and I've just completely taken something else. I don't know. I've been in a lot of pain recently. Anyway, so you can make a one donation on our PayPal, which can be found in the description. It's paypal.me/airjamon. Make sure to listen to our podcast. That was English, I'm sure. And see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.